Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be doing something that I've never done before. Watch the Smash documentary, or at least a part of it. So a lot of people have been asking me why I haven't watched the Smash documentary once, especially now that the new one's coming out. It's coming out, I believe, December 11th to 13th. They're doing like premiere on Twitch, and we're going to be watching that one too, of course. And to tell you the truth, I tried watching it when it came out. I didn't really care too much about like what I considered the old community. It wasn't really about many players that were recent, that were active, and the reputation I got from people that are still active, like Armada, Mango, well, not Armada anymore, but Armada at the time was obviously active, was that Armada wasn't in it very much, and Mango's episode was awful. And then I tried watching it, and I honestly cringed so hard. Yeah, this was like 2014. People used cringe. It was like considered hip. I cringed extremely hard at the narrator to the point where I could not watch it. And I tried several times, but I like never got through it. But I've met so many people that legitimately, the only reason I met them was because they watched the documentary and then they started playing Smash, and now we're really good friends, for example. Like Yabasta, I think, only got into Smash. My YouTube editor only got into Smash because of the documentary. And it's like, there's so many people and it's very influential. So we're gonna take a look. I'll give you my commentary. We'll do a review, and then we'll compare to the next one once that comes out. So the first episode is 20 minutes long. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube. And yeah, this has been so hyped up. Wait, and you may enjoy it. Oh, I just want to get past the first episode.
A friend of the producer is coming over to play Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah, this is again, the narrator is why I stopped the first time.
He considers himself to be pretty good, having played the game for several years. What he doesn't know is he's about to play Korean DJ, one of the greatest Melee players of all time.
Oh, whoops.
Each player has 4 lives or stocks, and must take all of his opponent's stocks to win.
Stocks to win.
KDJ will lose 3 on purpose.
Oh my god, dude, this is so hard.
Oh, so excited.
Oh.
Now, he will try.
Say the line. Song's a banger. The narrator seems to be either hated or loved. I hope he's not in the second one. I think he is though, because he was in the trailer, right?
I want to introduce you to Korean DJ, who is one of the greatest Smash Brothers players of all time.
KDJ then invited the cameraman to fight.
So what? He made a comeback on FD Fox
And then the
Marth.
producer.
Oh, there's gotta be
Who cares? He didn't even have to try it. I think watching this, knowing nothing of the scene, it's so cool. Have you guys actually showed this to people that aren't into Smash?
To be so fast and so precise that even 3 opponents would be no match. This is about a game that was never designed to be played at a competitive level.
I think this part is like much more relatable to a
And the people
non-pro
who discovered just how far the game could go.
than the scene with him reverse taking 4 stocks.
So go suck a dick.
Tons of people behind me just screaming.
He goes there ready to die. Best feeling ever.
But mostly, this is
Armand?
about the 7 greatest players who, in their time, ruled the world.
You want me to wrap up Smash, like as a whole?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
John Salty Snacks presents A Brief History of Smash. It was the turn of the century and everyone was bored. Bored, that is, until Masahiro Sakurai invented a brilliant new way to legally beat your children. Super Smash Bros. Melee for Nintendo GameCube. Since then, everything has been just hunky-dory.
When Smash Bros. Melee was released, it was intended to be a party game. Something your family could play together. Something designed for the casual gamer. The game was stocked with Nintendo characters most people would recognize. Donkey Kong, Mario, Sheik, Marth.
This is not when the narrative is awful. I think when the narrative is trying to sound epic is when he's awful.
The game
Or
itself
cringing.
was unique
I don't know if it's
in a
awful, but he's
world of
cringing.
2D fighters.
I liked that it was easy to pick up. Like Street Fighter, you had to know Azen combos. This game, you could just play and have fun.
There's just a fluidity to it that normal 2D fighters don't have. Not
Is that
to say
Milk Tea
2D
from the
fighters
Smash
are bad or
documentary?
Anything. Disclaimer.
You know, other games, you got the charge moves, quarter circle.
I'm friends with Milk Tea, by the way, and
you know, it's all about the physics. It's a big.
It's always fun to
almost
mess with
like
her about
a
it.
Sandbox fighting game.
Of course,
Because you would get recognized as Milk Tea from the Smash
Shit, there
documentary.
are combos in this too, and it's actually a lot broader, I guess, than most fighting games because it isn't just memorizing inputs. You have to think a lot more. John where people are going.
Yeah, man. Other fighting games are just memorizing
Everybody's
inputs, man.
like, it's going up. It's supposed to go the other way, and then they die. Yeah, it's confusing.
Oh, yeah, the percentage. It's not at all like any other fighting game.
When you get hit, or when things hit you, or like when you fall or whatever, your percentage goes up. And that means that the next time someone hits you, you'll go a little bit farther. And then when you go far enough that you leave the box that is the stage, because every stage is really a box, then you die.
There's a lot of strategy in just making sure people don't come back onto the stage once you knock them off. You can kill people at 0% or like 1% if you just play it really smart and trick them into doing something. Whereas other fighting games, you can't really have that small tactical advantage. Like you have to kind of chip away at them constantly.
Out of 649 GameCube games, Melee was by a wide margin the most popular. But despite the insistence that it should be a casual experience, a few players saw it as much more than that, and they took it to another level.
And I've been playing it for a couple of years when we found out about tournaments, that they hosted tournaments for the game.
Oh, he's the best.
It was a crap show, honestly. It was crowded and it was smelly, and I did really, really, really poorly, and it was frustrating, but that was it. You know, it was just like turning on a light. We were trash, just trash compared to these people. And that was very exciting for us. Once I realized where I was on the spectrum of this game, how far down I was, that the training started right away.
Welcome to Smash Brothers Training. Today you will learn the first advanced technique ever discovered.
Wave dashing.
Wave dashing. What the hell is a wave dash?
Wave
This
dashing.
is where I think I quit.
This is Samus.
The first time.
Besides being a robot bounty hunter, she is also an accomplished dancer. By jumping and then quickly dodging into the ground, she can transfer her momentum into a slide, speeding up her combos and increasing her movement options. Despite this, she still cannot do the robot. That's all for now. See you next time.
Ooh.
Players learned how to use wave dashing and other advanced techniques to speed up the game to the point where it basically got ridiculous.
Prague?
Most people figure that we put in about 6 or 7 inputs per second, which is roughly about the same as professional StarCraft. It kind of broke the boundaries that people expected to see in Smash.
There aren't set combos, there aren't a list that somebody somewhere decided what you can do. You can do whatever you want to with your character. You compare it to sports, you compare it to basketball or football, where a person is in control of every movement of their body. And while the video game is just a series of zeros and ones, everybody looks different. I can watch a video of a Marth, I can tell you whether it's Ken or Neo or Azen. You can see the style in a person's character, and that to me is incredible.
And, you know, I've ran tournaments for MLG, I've ran Men Challenge, ran Tekken, I've ran Halo, I've ran Gears of War, Rainbow Six, Shadowrun, Smash Brothers Melee, Smash Brothers Brawl. So I've ran and been around a lot of high caliber games, and I've seen them all, and I think Melee is one of the deepest and most intricate games you can ever play competitively, which is crazy for a game made by Nintendo that wasn't supposed to be competitive with cartoon characters, but it just kind of was like a beautiful accident.
Although Melee has advanced considerably, for the first few years there were no guidelines. The first to uncover and master these techniques.
It really feels like he's making a voice, and that's why it's so awful. It doesn't sound like... I generally think that I'm not making fun of a person's voice, I'm making fun of a cartoon character voice. Like bad voice acting.
Come on, Azen.
Cool the game. We weren't really serious about it. I mean, we had fun with it, but the
oh
moment where
shit!
it changed from like just
that's the
casual
guy I
play to
money
competitive
matched.
Was when my brother met Azen at school. The biggest thing about him
he's even playing
that
White Fox.
I've gotten over now, which I guess is why I didn't start with it, but it's just the fact that he's like freakishly good at video games. Like he just has this knack for being able to figure a game out and apply the best tactics immediately. This old school MMORPG called Growl. He was like top 2 ranked, he said, in the PvP servers of that worldwide. Pokemon Puzzle League, top scores in almost every mode. It was also just different genres. I mean, you got an MMO, you got a fighting game, and then you got a puzzle game. Like, and he's just.
I heard that
genres.
so my friend Volvo would like I think played Maple Story, and like Azen was like the top ranked player in like his server or something, and he didn't realize because Volvo also started playing Smash later. I think you just didn't have a life, bro.
We would just go to Fest and we'd be playing games for fun, and he's still like whooping our ass in them. Like we're playing Mario Party over here, and he's just fucking like winning all the mini games. It's something, like I said, that I'm used to now, but it's still like when I go back and think about it, it's like fucking incredible to think about. It seems like any game that he puts time into and cares about, he will get sick at. Crews weren't really like heavily established at the time. We were kind of one of the forerunners actually, because we wanted to show that as a group we had the most skill compared to any other group of players. And Chu had joined our crew because we had met him at another tournament. He started coming to our fest, and that's pretty much what started like the whole crew rivalry aspect.
Chu does look the same.
Was the fact that we had this other group of players, and they were, you know, they also had like a name. They were very like established. We had seen their placements over tournaments.
And then we also met Killer R. He was the king of Harlem. There was this guy named Brandon. His name is B. He pretty much knew about H2IL. And then he's like, yo, these guys, they're real good and everything. And he was the pretty much person networking between, you know, both crews. I was like, yo, forget this, man. We're gonna go over there, we're gonna destroy the whole crew.
We're just like these high school kids playing Smash Brothers, and like, these are like fucking 20-year-old like inner city people just like bringing out like hardcore trash talk. If I ever told people at school or anything about like, oh, I go to tournaments, and they're like, oh, that's lame, I'm like, oh yeah? Well, let me show you this motherfucker West that goes to these tournaments. He's a fucking badass.
My whole team.
That whole night, Azen was like wrecking them, but they actually beat the rest of our crew for, you know, overall. And
it was funny, he was even beating Dave with like Pichu. Because he would do like gimmicks. Like just throwing you off the ledge and just gimping you. He'd just do stuff like that to Dave, and Dave was like, oh, Azen's too good, I can't beat him, because that's how Dave is. Like, once a player is good and starts beating him, he starts like sucking their balls or whatever you want to call it. And the thing that Azen had over us at the time is because he knew about L canceling before us. So he was able to do moves like, you know, L cancel his moves to stop the delay on moves before us.
Hiding the
With
tech,
his smart
dude.
play and technical mastery, Azen had emerged as the best player on the East Coast. But across the country, a battle was brewing for best in the Golden State.
Tournament Go was one of the very first tournament series. It was really the first kind of national tournament series we ever had in our community. It was Matt Deasy who would just throw tournaments in his house, and you know, it'd be some setups on the middle floor, some setups on the bottom floor, and everyone would sleep there. Like, this guy would just house anyone that would fly in from anywhere.
Smash tournaments were really ghetto back in the day. You definitely always stayed at people's houses.
Like, I don't know, like Woodstock of gaming or something, where like all these people would show up and he'd be super friendly and open his house to them and house them for a weekend just to throw Smash tournaments. Vociferous you know, was a guy who played Sheik back then and was just the strongest player. Like he had won.
Back before
tournament
Corona.
goals,
Back
first couple
before
of them,
rollback net
by
play.
default, he was, you know, considered the best player in the nation.
You had to smell someone's asshole in order to be the rational ass in
We
Smash.
were really good at what we did, and the first story about Ken is like, you know, this guy like randomly posts that he won a GameStop tournament or something.
The good/bad old days, man.
And the thing about that, saying that, is everyone says that. Like, they beat their friends, and they're unbelievable at this game, and they will never lose. And I've seen it at so many tournaments, and these guys just get absolutely, like, crushed, like, torn apart, like, leave it with, like, you know, tail between the legs. Like, it was the same thing for Ken. Like, some guy that wasn't part of our community was like, I'm really good at this game. There's no way you'll beat me.
I was just a small fish in a pond. I didn't know anything about the ocean yet. So Matt Deasy, you know, he saw that post and he actually contacted.
They definitely have some good lines. Like the like people that get interviewed pull out some fucking gold lines.
$50 became $100.
Like the fish in the pond line.
It became the $200 money match off the bat. To tell you the honest truth, I didn't even have the money at the time, and I still money matched them. He actually drove down like 6-7 hours, NorCal to SoCal. He was like doing all these advanced techniques, like wave dash, catching items on air.
But like, here's the thing: it is better. It's fine if the gamers are cringe. That's the thing, because the gamers are just supposed to be these eccentric, interesting people. When the narrator itself is cringe, that like kind of breaks the immersion, if that makes sense.
I was like, how did you do that? I just had to rely on my instincts to take me through. I ended up beating Vociferous. Matt Deasy and Vociferous' face it was priceless. It was a funny thing because Matt Deasy's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm next.
I'm completely fine if you think it's fine. I just think that it hurts.
I asked him, I'm like,
and I think generally I don't think I've ever watched a good documentary that does a similar thing. And I do actually watch a decent amount of like sports documentaries or like gaming documentaries and such.
Before you have to win that. That's what makes you the best. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll have to go to TG4 and win that. I don't know about underground tournaments. You know, I thought it was gonna be like Evo where they hosted it like, you know, at an auditorium or something where there's like stages and whatnot, but it was hosted at Matt Deasy's house. Like I saw these smashers, he was housing like most of them, so they were like, I saw him sleep on the ground, I was like walking in there, I'm like trying to avoid.
That definitely happens. When you would go to Smash tournament, you would just walk over people sleeping in sleeping bags.
Smashers, they've heard of me, like Matt Deasy and Vociferous were telling people about me, like how, you know, how I was, so they wanted to see it. I tore through the whole entire tournament. After people saw my skill, a lot of people,
generally very good music and like editing on that part.
The hype was like almost gone. It was like the last match of the day is me versus Vociferous.
Yeah, exactly. Like I heard there's less narration later, which is why I'm giving it another chance. Also good content. What is this, cameraman? This feels like a parody of an actual cameraman.
There's no way you're gonna be the best at this game. You know, there's always gonna be someone better than you. I'm one of those guys who want to prove people wrong. If you tell me I can't do that, I want to show you that I can do it. So when I came home from TG4 and I showed them a lot of cash, they're like, oh, that's beginner's luck. That's beginner's. There's no way you can win another tournament.
Ken emerged from TG4 as the undisputed champion of the West. So it seemed that Ken and Azen were set on a collision course, with only a matter of time before they faced one another in the ultimate showdown.
What's a John?
Today's winner is Dr. Pee-Pee. Come on.
It was very ugly, but he won, and he won a lot.
Ridiculous things would constantly happen.
You can watch it and just see the level of like mind games going on.
We owned it.
No, we scared of the Japs.
We wanted revenge.
It is weird to have like episodes of something released at the time.
I figured I'm definitely not playing a novice right here.
I've been playing for 10 years and I still can't nail that.
Famous triangle wave dash.
You just go straight. Yeah, I go up and down.
Oh yeah, you
it's
definitely
like,
don't
shit,
say
even
that
before
word.
you-
That you see Japanese people are JP. Should we watch another one? I want to spread it out. How many are there? 9? We can watch 2 at a time, I guess. We'll watch 1 more today, and then we'll see how we feel.
John. What's a John?
It was like 2 a.m. and he was tired.
John's like John's.
He'll get me on the days where I'm just not playing too well.
John's, just John's.
A lot of people don't know where the term came from. It just started, but I believe it was a guy in Texas. His name was John, and no matter what, every time he'd lose, he'd have an excuse. He'd have a reason for losing.
My controller wasn't working. The stage, there's a little bit of lag on the TV.
I didn't.
The funny thing is that this Smash documentary, this episode, made people spam John whenever someone said anything about the game. If you said, I'm playing bad today, people are like, that's a John. It's like, no, I'm not giving an excuse for playing bad. I'm stating that I'm playing bad. I had to mute the word John on my Twitter, Twitch, YouTube for years because everyone fucking spammed John and they thought that they were cool if they called something no Johns, man, no Johns. Oh my god, it was so annoying. Still is. I think I still have it muted on Twitter, actually. All people named John, I'm sorry, but I never see your messages.
Sleep last night, or I don't know why I'm not commenting today. I need to warm up.
We have a Swedish term, Inga Jonas. It's pretty much no
Yep.
Johns. He used to like.
People just said Inga Jonas, which is basically the same thing. Just because Johns was the... I mean, we had no Johns here, and then a player named Yuna who played Peach would complain a lot and do the same thing, make excuses, and then we just made it no Jonas or Inga Jonas in Swedish.
And they were like, someone's touching my shoulder. And I was like, no Johns.
I was like really into the word ChuDat for some reason. That's like when the word just first came out, like everybody was saying it. And so I was like walking down the street and like walking home from school and I'm just like, ChuDat, yeah, ChuDat. I'm just, I said it so much that it became my name.
Smash tag is chaotic.
Sago.
Solid Jake is my tag in the Smash community.
JV3x3, just random numbers and initials.
Some people create the tag when they're younger.
Chillin dude 829.
Morg.
Is that a burn on Chillin dude?
WIFE wife.
As you get older, you realize you don't want that name to stick to you.
I like it. I enjoy it.
Today's winner is Dr. Pee-Pee. Come on.
It's built a little identity.
Wow.
So I identify with it.
PC Chris ain't that great either, bro.
I would be something cool like Dark Rain, but as it is,
Wow, you got a
I'm
fucking
white
PC.
and I identify with it. I wouldn't say that I found myself in Smash, but I found a second self in Smash. Having this gamer tag and this alternate life and this alternate set of friends, this alternate set of goals allowed me to have an identity that was very different. In regular life, some people call me the most positive person they've met. I'm a very positive person, but in Smash, I'm arrogant. I'm arrogant and I can be condescending and I know what I want and I'm aggressive and forceful and it's fun to have that second identity. I wonder how many people found
Competition
a
is pretty
community
cool.
where they were able to express themselves where they couldn't before. I think that Azen may be one of those, and I don't know about Azen's real-world personality. I can't say that for sure, but I can say that his personality in the Smash world is very cool, and I did get to know that Azen.
He's one of those players who's just completely 100% like all like thinking.
He's actually the only person to ever beat me in tournament in a Samus duo. No one's ever done that, and it was early.
Samus?
Probably be able to beat him a little later in my career. They were calling
Thank
him
God he got
all
those
the
teeth
characters, and
fixed.
He was good with all of them, all 26, and he would as the characters and he beat them. And his style.
I'm sorry. Hogs jokes about it too. I'm friends with Hogs. Chill.
Forward smash like 3 times in a row. It's like you missed the first time, you missed the second time. There's no way he's gonna do it the third time. You do it the third time. You're like, that's so stupid. Why did I just get hit by that?
He might not even be able to control the character to like make it look like a top tier character, but like he'll just beat you anyway.
It was very ugly, but he won, and he won a lot.
Yeah, Hogs has way better teeth than I do now.
Azen and H2IL won most of their contests with the other East Coast elites, Deadly Alliance and Team Ben. Meanwhile, the newly minted champion of the West Coast had just met a
Champion.
player who would forever change the face of Smash, and he didn't even play the game.
I actually met Isaiah at TG4. He was a Smash 64 player at the time. He didn't even play Melee at all. He actually money matched me at Smash 64. And I thought I was really good at there. I was like, you know what? I don't know I should money match you. You're probably gonna lose. Isaiah was like, no, let's just money match. I saw Isaiah, how he's playing 64, and he was amazing. I was like, oh shit. So I was like, you know what, Isaiah? Let's just cancel the money match. He's like, what? How come? I was like, I'm not feeling it. So I told him, like, no money match. I was talking to Isaiah about Melee and stuff online, that I think he has potential to be good because he's really good at 64. I was good at 64 and it carried over. You should come down 2 weeks before TG5 and I'll house you. We can practice, become partners, and I think we could be really good. Eventually, we became really good training partners, kind of like sparring. We would grow off each other.
Azen and Andon were visiting a friend in California, so they're like, okay, as long as we're over here, let's go to a tournament over here. This was 03, summer of 03.
TG5, when it first
God damn,
happened,
dude.
everyone was pretty hyped since the best East Coast players at the time, best Midwest players at the time, all going to one place, and Matt Easy was hosting it. Who's better, Ken or Azen? And this tournament was gonna resolve that all.
Azen advanced through the bracket and seemed to be doing well until he faced Reciferous and lost a Sheik Ditto. Knocked into loser's bracket, Azen again fought a Sheik Ditto, this time against Isaiah. With a 1-2 punch, Azen was knocked out of the top 3 and out of the money. It seemed, even without their top player, the West Coast was indeed the best coast. But something about the tournament in the East.
What do you mean without their top player? Was there another player? Oh, that he didn't have to face Azen? Okay.
Coast. But something about the tournament didn't sit well with the boys from the East, and they made it known that in their eyes, the victory was a complete and utter farce.
The funny thing about this tournament was items were on, which we were not fans of.
You know, there was a constant debate about the West Coast versus East Coast about items and no items and stuff.
I love items. I think they're fun as hell. But it's no place in a tournament.
And they used them like regularly, and they had like a pretty crazy items list too.
Ridiculous things would constantly happen. You know, you grab a Pokeball, like, you don't know what's in there.
Hearing the stories about the tournament items definitely had an effect on the outcome. So we wanted a tournament like on our turf with our rules, where we still had Ken and Isaiah represented, and prove to them that basically on our home turf with our rules, you can't beat us.
They wanted, you know, West Coast players to come over there. Obviously, like, the only 2 West Coast players they wanted to come over there was me and Isaiah.
We wanted revenge.
So here we are off to the tourney. It's my buddy Ken. It sucks. Oh, it doesn't. Chops. I don't know who this is.
He's a Mexican guy.
Yeah. American Legion. Nobody here.
It was just like the place. There's nothing around there. It was just like no.
I think the
places
funniest
around.
thing is that if you watch a show supposed to be set in the 90s with average people or 80s, they will look like these people do in the 2000s. People don't remember how weird the fashion and such was for the average person growing up in the freaking 2000s. Like, early 2000s was pretty freaking different, especially if you're talking about like an average person, like a gamer, not like a super fashionable rich person.
It was just like the place. There's nothing around there. It was just like no food places around. It's just where the tournament was.
Thank you, Spark.
There's my partner practicing.
It's crazy what's happened in like 20
Who
years.
are these people?
15.
Oh, it's Joshua. How was the drive?
I was just so excited. Like, look at all these.
That was
people
every
from all over
time
the
when
country
you
come
travel to a
play
Smash
Melee.
tournament. That's how it was for me too. Like, every time I had to go to a tournament, there were only tournaments on the West Coast us to get in, so we had to drive like 6 hours every time. It was awful. I was always hyped in the rides though, especially the rides there. They were kind of pog. It definitely felt like you were a different person, right? Like you were like living this second, quote unquote, second life that wife talked about.
You come to play Melee, DA showed up in full force. We even had a couple Canada people.
I think that's the first time I actually met husband and wife too.
Right here. The newlyweds. I saw your picture. This is my. That's wicked.
Was I the alpha in the group? I was the youngest, so no.
There's a counterpart.
But also
wife,
yes.
Yeah, husband, of course.
So that got me hated a lot.
Which has been
I was both new and young.
Not anything. The
And wildly
was
confident
a TV show
and
with
cocky.
Nick and Jessica. And that was part of it, but also Peach wears a white wedding dress and she looks like a bride, and so it was silly.
Is this Chillin? Or no? That's not. Is it Chillin? Awesome. He's running this whole deal. He's got the money in his hand.
When Game Over happened, I was 14, so I mean, I was still very young during this entire thing.
Where'd you guys come from?
New York City.
New York City? Good to meet you. Trying to meet everyone here. Sorry to shove the camera in your face.
I'm gonna own everyone here today.
You're gonna kick some fucking ass. Who's this?
Samantha.
Samantha?
Who's
Are you playing?
this?
Yeah.
Who are you using? Oh my god. It's
That is legitimately how people would talk to girls at Smash tournaments. What's this? What is this creature?
I'm Mike from Canada. How you doing?
In the days before YouTube, Mike and the Punch Crew were one of the only video options in town, and they shared a sophisticated commentary on the game itself. Mostly sophisticated.
Give him the stick! Don't give him the stick! They haven't heard of you guys.
What? Punch Crew?
What happened? Ouch!
The internet, as well as the community, was still very young.
All around the room quiet. They talk all this shit on the internet and they, in person, it's just like,
anyone in the community.
I was down,
who you
like,
have,
I shit talked so much on the internet. I was always down to say shit IRL too, but no one I ever talked trash to online would ever say anything in person. I've talked a lot of trash, but like no one has ever said anything back. I mean, to me, that was kind of like also what was fun about it. Like, you had beefs and shit like that. Like, I was down to talk trash, whatever. I was a cocky 16, 17-year-old. But I was also completely fine with it just being on the internet. Like, people just trying to pass the time between tournaments. Because there was only a tournament every, like, couple of months.
Personalities. You have, like, their online personality, and then when you meet them in person.
There's a lot of talk online, you know that? When I play them in person, they're not like...
That's how it is. They want to draw you here, that's all.
The first teams tournament came on. The East Coast at the time weren't too big on teams. They didn't really care. It's all about singles.
That was just brutal. Like, Azen and Ken got decimated by Ken and Isaiah, and it was never really close. Teams did have the $300 pot bonus, which is mainly why Ken and Isaiah came, I think, knowing that they had teams pretty much in the bag.
And after it ended, it's like, okay, so there you got what you wanted. Now it's time for, you know, singles and whatnot.
It took the longest time to actually get singles started because I had to write the whole bracket out by hand. H2L was all doing well. That encouraged me, just knowing that, you know, my crew is legit. I was just focused on running the tournament for a while until I saw that I had to fight Ken.
The match was crazy because I can remember, like, at first we were playing on a little screen.
Take one life off.
This is the worst fucking part about CRTs. People always gas up CRTs. Oh, CRTs are so good. Oh, the image clarity. Oh, the low lag. You know what fucking sucks about CRTs? The sound and the screen is always widely different. There are laggy CRTs, by the way, too. Anyone claiming that every CRT is the same lag is not true. Most of them have very, very similar, actually, but they're definitely laggy CRTs. There's really shitty CRTs. I've had to play tournament sets in black and white. I've had to play them many with no sound, or only sound from one speaker, or sound that isn't there, but then mid-match goes, and it's like full volume because people had been trying to turn it on by turning the volume up to 100%, but it was just the cable that wasn't fully in. And oh my god, dude, like, Melee's not the same when you're playing it on a 12-inch CRT as you are when you're playing it on a 50-inch CRT with 2 frames of lag.
Denver's chilling.
We were playing on a little screen.
Take one life off.
These CRTs are pretty pog though. That's what I want to get one of those
I
for
remember
to have in the back.
Azen's Marth in,
if I can't get
friendlies
like
that week in
a super expensive
preparation,
one,
and I would
like
get
the 480p
cutthroat
shit.
a lot, but I never got them as much as during that first match against Ken.
I don't have a
The
CRT at home now.
strategy is really, really good.
It's
and
really
I should
hard to
probably
get
be
like
using
high
this,
quality,
at all
like the best
times.
CRTs.
The Chillin is simply this. You throw
in
somebody
Sweden.
upwards and then hit them
Much
with them
easier
up
in the
there.
US.
You mean repeat it so you can
Like
get
Sony
that?
PVMs and
Getting really
BVMs and
hyped
such.
for me,
DMVs or
and
whatever.
that just started to draw a crowd.
If someone has a connection in Europe, and you need a buyer.
I can think of very few times in my
Let me
melee
know.
career where I've been like, oh yeah, I really like the fact.
Okay, wait. Let me
It's
rewatch
simply
this.
this. You throw somebody
Good, and I should probably be using this like at all times.
The Chillin.
I would get playing Azen's Marth in friendlies a lot that week in preparation, and I would get up throw uppers a lot, but I never got them as much as during that first match against Ken. Okay, this strategy is really, really good, and I should probably be using this like at all times.
The Chillin is simply this. You throw somebody upwards and then hit them with an up air. Do you mean to repeat it so you can get that? Or
J-Tank was getting really hyped for me, and that just started to draw a crowd.
Look at the wave dashes. Oh my.
I
Oh!
can think of very few times in my melee career where I've been like, oh yeah, I really like the fact that the crowd was in my ear, you know?
It's funny because you don't see a crowd, but trust me, like in some ways, playing on a tiny ass CRT with like 5 people behind you talking like, oh yeah, that was a very bad back here, stuff like that is sometimes 100 times more annoying than having a roaring crowd that goes, oh shit, Mango, USA, you. Like it's easier to tune out that sometimes. I remember like when I was starting, it was so hard for me to like I would always listen and hear everything. Like hear, okay, yeah, let's get pizza for lunch. Yeah, we did get it yesterday, but there's nothing else around. Yeah, I haven't shouted in 3 weeks either. Yep. Yeah, you know the standard stuff at the time.
I threw him up and I smashed him across the screen.
Oh shit.
All I had to do
There
was
wasn't
smash
even
him
a
out.
king combo. I like
At that point, I'm freaking.
I like how the camera, every time Fox jumps, it's like a tennis match. The camera goes like, oh shit, a full jump?
Out.
Standing
I
lasers.
hit him with neutral air, send him off. I see him coming back, and this is a situation I'd seen so many times with Azen, so I knew what was going to happen, and I just wave dashed back, let him put out a forward air, and up smashed him.
Up smash.
Oh!
I
See?
never felt like that
Marv
good. Like,
doesn't
ever, probably.
lose on
That might have been
FD.
like the highlight of
I
my
mean,
life. to
does
that
lose on
point.
I was
FD.
never used to losing, and that was a major shock that I can't believe I actually lost too when I lost to Chillin, dude.
Yeah, man.
When someone told me like not
That'd
too
be
long
that-
after that,
that
like,
would
yo, that was
suck,
Ken's
actually.
first loss in the bracket, and I'm like, oh my god.
It was so close. Like I could have done so many things differently. Got a little bit more sleep or something the night before, a little bit of food or something. I could have definitely beaten him, but it was I lost. And the worst part was that I lost to Chillin, dude.
It turned me from like just this guy that plays melee for fun to like
Oh, now I'm
an
starting to feel
actual
bad.
pro player in my opinion. After I beat Ken at that point in winners, pretty much all of us in H2IL thought Isaiah was the beast. We all thought Ken was just, you know, the overhyped, not very good, like decent, but you know, overhyped. And Isaiah was like really, really good, just based on watching his matches and playing him and stuff.
The San Jose native couldn't help but attract attention. He used the wildest, most unwieldy character in the game. But unlike
Most
everyone else who
unwieldy
tried, Isaiah made him look good.
Yeah, the low tier Captain Fox.
In winners finals, Azen was waiting for him.
Azen versus Isaiah was like one of the first insanely high level melee matches where you can watch it and just see the level of like mind games going on.
Insanely high level melee. That was almost a 6cc grab that he probably didn't intend to do. It is kind of funny, yeah, now that I think about it. Maybe the reason why I didn't watch the Smash doc has something to do with me not respecting my elders or not giving a shit about Chillin, dude. And after I beat him, I mean, why would I watch a documentary about how he did well?
At that point, Azen had beat Isaiah, I'd beat Ken. You
Honestly,
know,
it was just the narrator,
you know,
though.
we had Isaiah's a problem here. Let's talk about how to beat Isaiah. But Ken ended up coming back through losers and, you know, just going on a rampage.
I was determined. I had the eye of the tiger.
You know, he beat Dave, he beats Isaiah, and now at the time we're thinking, okay, Isaiah just let Ken win for some reason because Isaiah's a lot better.
I felt more comfortable, and then I fought Chillin dude again.
I wasn't nearly as focused, which had slightly to do with the time and how late it was, and I'd been running the tournament all day.
I beat the shit out of him. I took him out.
Even
this sounds like a massive John, but let me tell you from someone that has played many Smash tournaments in the grassroots days, this is completely legit. One, he ran the tournament. Two, tournaments would legitimately like start at like 1 p.m., 4 hours after they were supposed to start, and then run until 5 a.m. in the morning. Legitimately, people do not understand how badly ran tournaments were. People would just like have a tournament match, like winter finals, and they would just go out to eat and disappear for 2 hours. Tournament organizers, like Chillin dude, were like 14, so they didn't want to DQ a big black guy from New York. It's like people are scared.
I still didn't think, you know, Ken was, you know, anything crazy. We'll see what happens, but Azen should, you know, wrap this up pretty quick. It's 2 sets, you know.
Blood and honor. Wait, Ken's the Falcon?
Ken just never let up. And I mean, Azen's not the type to do that either, but Azen didn't have as much of a game plan going in. Like if he had played Ken in more friendlies or had just expected Ken to come out, he might have had a better game plan ready and things might have gone different, but Ken did end up coming all the way back and taking it.
And Azen was, oh man, Azen was sad. Like I saw his face, he was sad. Like I would be sad too, but I mean, he was representing the East Coast at the time. I mean, I pulled the impossible again and I managed to come out on top.
You could tell at times like he was upset about his play or something like that, but he did a very good job of hiding it.
No word could better describe Azen than unassuming. He is loath to accept his greatness. For all the games that he's good at besides just Melee, where he holds these world records in a game that he just picked up just because he's Azen, not only is he just mellow and kind of goes with the flow, you know, because he doesn't really want to put up a fight, I think he really wants to do everything you say. You know, it's like, hey, Azen, do you want to play Smash for 12 hours in a row and not eat? I do. But it's not just about the game. Hey, Azen, let's take a road trip to Michigan. Azen, let's put on show tunes. We're going to sing Little Mermaid. And we did sing Little Mermaid. And all those 12, 14-hour trips to the Midwest. He's great company and a great guy.
This is a dude that's down. Hey, whoa. This did not age well. What the fuck? Alright.
The Japs.
Japanese people should not be called that. Especially not by Americans. And no, it was not okay to say that in 2013.
The players in different countries in emerging scenes like America and Japan didn't actually verse much at all or integrate in any way, so we didn't have a clear indication of which country was better. But from watching the videos, the Japanese were far more impressive in their technical aspects and their creativity.
The question remained, Japan or America? For some, the issue was already settled, but with TG6 around the corner, Matt Deasy saw an opportunity.
Let me guess, the Americans thought it was already settled.
He invited a few of the top
Some
Japanese
things never
players
do
to compete in
change.
the States, including the formidable Captain Jack.
Azen went to that, Chu went to that.
That was a great tournament.
To be honest, when we were having those back and forths, who's the second best in H2IL, it was most often Chu, more so than any of the rest of us.
In addition to being the first international tournament, TG6 would finally put an end to an annoying West Coast practice.
I remember a match that I saw at TG5 where it was Eddie the Ganondorf player.
Matt Deasy, he lost several matches because of items. One of them was to me. It was a Sizor. I remember this too. I hit one Pokeball and it was like a Firebird and he was caught in it. And then I hit him with another Pokeball to knock him back into Firebird. And then the Caesar came out and took him off, and he was just like,
And after that, Matt D said, F this, no more items. So he took out items for TG6. I was playing friendlies against Captain Jack the day before the tournament just to see, you know, the difference of the skill level between Japanese and Americans.
Captain Jack's Bowser beat Ken Smart. I was like, what? Who is this guy? This guy's Japanese. He's like really, really good.
I just couldn't kill him. I just didn't understand why I couldn't kill him. Like every single time I'd smash him at like 100%, he'd live. And that was actually the first time I actually learned about DI.
DI, or directional influence, is the ability of the player to influence their trajectory if hit by an opponent. If mastered, this simple skill can...
Not
The
this
ability
again!
that there is directional influence, DI. It doesn't even become a contest for the players that know what they're doing.
It's just the back of my head like, DI, DI, DI. And that totally threw off my game. You know, I played Sasta for like 3rd round. I was letting him hit me and I was trying to DI, and then I ended up ultimately losing the match.
Yeah, people were
JDK
surprised by that, and I still remember Azen saying like, Sastifer, when he lost to him, he goes, I raped it with my Pichu!
Oh,
And most people I assume were thinking, okay, game over, repeat, he's just going to sweep through losers, and then DSF actually took him out in losers.
It was a bad ride home too, like, that was the first
Some
time
things
win singles.
did not
you know.
age well.
Even though we ideally would like to see Azen fight Ken again, because that's just always an epic match, this really opens the door for Azen to take it.
I fought Isaiah with my ice combers, and
There really
and
needs
I
to
beat
be
him.
an edited
I beat him
version of
really,
this.
really like
Like an
I
actual
don't want
new
to say
one.
badly, but like I two-stocked him.
Chu beat Isaiah, not only in winners, but again in losers. 2-0 both times, just showing like dominance over Isaiah.
The funny
no one
funny
had
thing
ever done.
is,
Everybody was like,
here's the thing. This was just common gaming culture back at the time. It legitimately just was. I was a young teenager when I came into the scene. Everyone else was just saying it, so I'm sure I said it too, right? I mean, like to them, it was like saying that, oh, I just owned him. The word was used very differently, yeah.
This really opens the door for Azen to take it.
I fought Isaiah with my ice combers, and I beat him. I beat him really, really like I don't want to say badly, but like I two-stocked him.
Chu beat Isaiah, not only in winners, but again in losers. 2-0, no one had ever done.
Everybody was like, oh man, who is this? Look at this ice comber player.
Other than Azen and Ken, there wasn't anyone who could really touch Isaiah, or so we thought. And then all of a sudden, Chu comes in with this considered low tier at the time character, Ice Climbers. Like, he single-handedly probably moved up Ice Climbers 10 spots just based on that performance.
I fight Captain Jack. I lose to Captain Jack.
It set up Azen versus Captain Jack, and I'm on the phone with Chu while the finals is happening. I remember getting so pissed off that literally everyone in the venue, it seemed like, was cheering for Captain Jack. Once Azen won, like I mean, that was it. I remember putting in my SIG, like, congrats to Azen, best player in the world, or something like that. Like, I was just like, okay, this is it. Azen's the best in the world. He just proved it.
I forget that 4 Smash Bros used to have signatures. It was just below every time you posted. Oh my god, dude, that's a fucking throwback.
We were talking about, you know, how good Azen is, best in the world now, not because, you know, he beat everybody, but because he also beat a Japanese player. But, I mean, he still won, you know, he still won, so.
He beat one Japanese player? That means he's the best, man.
He doesn't get too excited, but, you know, he was definitely really happy about it. He had his big-ass trophy that he brought home on the plane. He was showing that off, so he was pretty excited about that.
And
Also,
for the next
he was pretty
episode...
excited about that.
Wait. And for the next episode...
The aggressiveness and the speed and the combos and everything that goes with that character, it's scary.
That was as Isaiah, as anything Isaiah's ever done.
He's a weird guy.
People loved him for that because, you know, it was different, it was unique.
Well, there was emoji girls going around, you know, giving hugs and whatnot.
He had this kind of aura about him that just seemed unbeatable if he felt like it.
Isaiah, if he tried. Coming on next. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to stop it today. Thank you very much if you watched this YouTube video. Again, we'll be watching all of this. Yeah, this is taking a very long time, basically just because if I want to add commentary to it. And I don't want to make the YouTube video like 2 hours. Please, one more. God damn, you guys are drug addicts.